Hey guys, so this is a brief video on how to care for your African cichlids. This is my African cichlid tank. I have some Oscars in here, some albino Oscars. As long as the Oscars are bigger than the cichlids, from my personal experience, they work out fine. Because the Oscars only really eat stuff that's big enough to fit in their mouth. So for cichlids you need hiding places. As you can see, all these rocks I have, they have little holes in them. So you need at least one hiding place per cichlid in the tank. And it's also a very good idea to overstock your cichlid tank. Don't go against the inch per gallon rule, which I kind of have here. I just have to do more water changes, so it's not a big deal. It's kind of personal preference. If you want to be doing water changes all the time, then you can have a lot of fish, but if you don't want to do water changes all the time, it's recommended just to stick by the inch per gallon rule. So for cichlids, the reason why you almost overstock your tank is because it reduces aggression. Cichlids are very aggressive fish. They pick on the weak fish in the tank, but if you have a lot of fish in the tank, then it spreads their aggression throughout the fish. So all in all, it makes for a more harmonious tank. Normally, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. Normally people don't really mix Oscars with cichlids. It seems like African cichlids. Oscars are cichlids, but it's probably not a good idea, though it works out for me. They do fine. They're happy. All my cichlids are pretty harmonious. You want to have, if you have an African cichlid tank, you want to have at least 15 plus fish in your tank, which reduces the aggression on the one weaker fish because they split it. I do have some crayfish in here. They like to hide during the day though. I've got some electric blue crayfish and I've got some electric orange crayfish. Yeah, so for cichlids, you want to keep the temperature from 76 degrees to about 82. I usually keep it at 76 because they're less active. The more active they are, the more they might pick on a weaker fish. So it's nicer on the fish, I think. For these guys, I used to feed them twice a day when they were younger, but now I just feed them once a day because I'm not trying to really grow them that fast. I'm just trying to enjoy them. The more you feed them, the more you have to do water changes, and it is very important to do water changes. You want to do about a 25% water change every 1 to 2 weeks just to keep the water clean, because if it evaporates, then all the fish waste just builds up, and it's just not a good environment for your fish. But those my rocks in the tank, as you can see there, they're ceramic. They're hollow inside. African cichlids especially, they come from the rift lakes in Africa, the Lake Victoria, Lake Malawi, and there's one other one. And those lakes are basically filled with limestone rocks. So that's the reason why you want to have your pH at a very high level. One way to do this is to, what I have in my tank is crushed coral, which is basically crushed seashells and coral. You want to have hard water for African cichlids. It's very important. You want to have the maximum hardness in your tank, and which the crushed coral, that's what it does. It raises the hardness in the water. You can also get pH buffers. weeks, but that's too much work for me personally. I'd rather just have crushed coral and have the pH at the right level. For African cichlids, you have to have good filtration because you have to overstock your tank to reduce aggression on those weaker fish. Like as you can see here, if you watch them, they'll pick on one fish, that fish will swim away, and then they'll see another fish, and then they'll pick on him. If you only have like 4 fish, then your dominant fish is just gonna beat on the weak fish, and that weak fish won't survive. Having more fish, around 20, is the best way to go, I would say. My tank is overstocked. I just do water changes once every 2 weeks, pretty big ones. You gotta have you gotta have a solution that removes the chlorine, because tap water has chlorine in it. So chlorine is very bad for fish. It'll actually kill your fish. Yeah, African cichlids are very interesting. They're very fun to watch because they're very active. I got a jewel cichlid right up here. These two. This is an Oscar. That's an Oscar. When I got them, they're about this big, but they grow about an inch a month. My cichlids, in all the books I read, they say a cichlid won't have babies until it's mature, about a year. But this female right here, she just spit babies about 2 weeks ago, and I had I had about 10 little babies in there. They're all gone now because I'm not really trying to raise baby cichlids. But if you are, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take the pregnant female. They hold their eggs in their mouth, and when you see them, it's pretty obvious. Well, it's not obvious, but if you watch your cichlids, you'll see that one has a very poofy mouth. It looks like she's got something in her mouth. What you're supposed to do is have a separate tank and put her in there until she spits out her babies, and then you care for the babies separately. She won't eat them at first, but you shouldn't keep her in there with them long enough after she spits them out. But yeah, that's if you really want to raise baby cichlids. That's not really what I'm trying to do. There's a lot of algae on the side of my glass. What helps with that is just getting a plecostomus. What I've found is that the common plecostomus, my cichlids, actually they just kind of tear it up. The common plecostomus will get to about like 24 inches in a few years. But the rubber lip or rubber mouth plecostomus I've found is more resilient to the cichlids' aggression. So let me see if I can find my rubber mouth plecostomus. They're always hiding during the day. They're nocturnal, so they're hard to find actually. But I've got about 4 or 5 in here, so they do some work on cleaning the algae off the sides. But yeah, for cichlids, I feed them once a day. If you really want to grow them fast, then I would say feed them once in the morning and once at night every day, and keep the water temperature at maybe like 78 degrees, and they'll grow pretty fast. You'll just have to keep the water temperature. I'd recommend getting a water test kit, because the more you feed your fish, the more they create waste, and the more you have to change the water. What I've heard, I don't know if this is 100% verified, but if the water's dirty, if there's a lot of waste in the water, it actually stunts the fish's growth. That is what stunts fish's growth. It's not that if you put them in a 20-gallon tank, then they're automatically going to be stunted. If you put them in a 20-gallon tank and you keep the water clean, they're going to grow to their maximum size. If you put them in a 20-gallon tank and the water quality is bad, that is what stunts their growth. So if you can keep them in clean water and keep feeding them, they'll grow fast. You just gotta change the water a lot. For me, I gotta work during the day, so I only really have time at night to feed them and watch them. During the weekends, I'll change the water like 25%. It's not a big deal. But yeah, definitely keep a top on your tank, because I had a really pretty fish in my cichlid tank. He was metallic blue with metallic yellow. He was my favorite fish, and one day I fed him. I went to work. I forgot to close the top. I came back from work and he was on the floor. The one fish that was my favorite fish. And they always say in books that it's always the fish that you really like that is the one that jumps out of the tank. And for me, that's kind of what happened. But lesson learned: just keep a top on your tank. It's smart. It's very important. I've already said you gotta have hiding places. That's where I got these. They're pretty cheap actually. These are like ceramic. Forget the name of the company who makes them, but they're ceramic rocks, and they make them in like China or something. I got like a 30-pack. I got two 30-packs for like $40 each, and that's all the rocks you see in here. And the reason why I like these hollow ones is that you can get big rocks and make your own hiding places, but the thing about having big rocks is that that takes up water space. You have less water. The bigger rocks you have, the less water you can put in your tank. The less water you have in your tank, the more you have to clean the tank, because there's less water in it. So, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is my cichlid tank. Feel free to ask me questions if you want to. I'm relatively new to the hobby, but I know the basics. So if you have some questions, just ask me. Alright? This is my tank. See you later, YouTube.